All right, so I want to talk about I do want to start doing weekly discussions for each Kubera chapter. My hope is by next week, I'll have at least Myles and Vince like consistently. So it'll be good. I gotta read Kubera to stop missing all these streams. It would be nice. The more power that I have from the homies, the better it is. But yeah, I do want to eventually start to get a couple more discussions going. Townsy said he'd catch up. I'll ask him again. Satsuki said he has it rather than months. So it's just and Milios has been looking for I suppose the proper translation for quite some time, and as a result of that, he hasn't. Why is that in the middle over there? It's just in the middle. What? And so Milios is like, I don't know what translation is to use, so he was just kind of lost with that. So we should have a solid group of, let's say, on average 3 to 6 people to discuss with coming soon. So I hope that goes well. I promise I'm trying to get more people. I really am.
A little something like eeny, meeny, right from the beginning. Smoke a little pack, but the pack never timid. Church, but I'm seeing it. Curse when I'm winning. She need a new back. When it's back, I'ma bend it. Slap up some guinea. Pass me the hen it. Watch a nigga black slip yak, I'ma quit it. Swerve in the Benzie. Perfume is Fendi. Bob and move fast, real fast like I'm Ricky. That's 'cause I'm pretty. Came from the dirt. Shovel up a nigga can't handle the work. Ooh, y'all, swing with it first. Young white girl like a rambo.
Oh, well, say hi to YouTube. This will be on YouTube at some point in life. And I truly want to discuss this chapter because I keep thinking the last chapter of Abyss was like, it's like the chapter. What's up, Myles? Yes, we got back up. But then I read another one and I'm like, is this recency bias or is Kurigam just the one? How you doing, bro?
Okay, I'm tired as fuck. I'm just trying to.
I hear you. I'm honestly behind. I meant to do this like probably around 8, but I had to do some driving around, and it just.
Nah, yeah, you're good. You're good.
It just held me back, but no, because I know that a lot of the Kubera readers, I think around this time, at least a good chunk of them, I know like this is like their either early morning, night. I'm not entirely sure. I gotta check some of my. I can't remember where they live in the time zones, but did you read Abyss 14?
Yeah.
Did you like 13 though?
I
I don't remember if we talked about it at all.
don't think I talked about 13. I did like this.
No, I think did I do last week by myself or were you there? I'm trying to remember now.
I was. I don't think I was there last week.
Okay, so I thought the quick thinking of Ran to kind of come up with the idea to make Maruna the wish about Maruna and him wanting to actually like be equal to humans or see humans as equal to him was intriguing because in my head I'm like not entirely sure how all the time discrepancies work, but you could argue that he's already on that path, if not there already, by the time that he develops into his 5th stage after absorbing what was gonna like take over Rowley's. So like to me it was like I wonder if that messes with things, but then I think Ashu in the comment had brought up that like it's Callie, so Callie might have some extra tidbit of chaos that we don't know, just kind of attached to it, so you can never be too sure. But this is coming from a guy that I'm still like, yo, I'm not. Oh, he said, yeah, I'm not gonna hold you if I didn't have class tomorrow at Hopkins. Don't worry about it. I know you have school now, school time. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think of last chapter before we talk about this one? 'Cause I thought it was a great lead-in.
Especially with last chapter, I'm gonna have to reread like a bunch of stuff. I can already tell. I thought it was good. The rules and regulations are always one of those things. Like whenever I read it on the first time, I'm like, hold on. It's always like I'm reading this like, wait, what? What? I think I get the issue of why it disappeared was found in this chapter with the it seems like his heart took on as being representative as being a Shura, which is interesting enough. But and your thing with the time discrepancies is something I was thinking about, because it's like, well, I guess we don't know which time frame Maruna is in right now.
No, we're not entirely sure. But even if we're seeing this now, for all you know, when you switch back to the Maruna, what he's doing is completely different than what we think. Just because we're seeing it
Yeah.
at that time doesn't necessarily mean those times sync up at that moment. So you gotta be careful, because like I want to assume that, but I realize it's probably safer not to, because Karga knows what she's doing. I don't have to look down on her. Long story short.
Yeah, it's so weird because it's like, let's say there's two timelines, right? You have, let's just say, like, year 1 and year 2 was current day Maruna, but year 1 is 5th stage Maruna that went in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would be good to do it in year 1, bad to do it in year 2. Yeah. So the way in which the time works is really fascinating, because they truly replace their past versions when they're in that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would be really interesting to see like the whole Maruna thing and how that like goes in conjunction with like, okay, well, if the past Maruna's here and then the normal Maruna's not here, does it work? Or we know this will happen because the future Maruna exists in the past when it been still taking effect. So it is really interesting to see like how all this would work out.
Yeah, and then like to me, we've mentioned this a multitude of times, and it's just at this point it's obvious. But Ran and Maruna are on different trajectories that are like that mirror one another, right? Because they're kind of like foils, I'd argue. So but in a sense. So this part here, I just thought that he was thinking quick on his feet. And at the beginning of the chapter, I thought he actually discerned that this was a fake. I think this one where I think he thinks it's a fake Raltara. Yeah, he's like, are you just pretending to have come back to standing to deceive me and buy a person in a Raltara? I thought he saw something we didn't. But then obviously he wasn't sure and stuff. So it was interesting to see them go back and forth. And then he says, okay, let's do this. You have to wish for Maruna's development. But I like the part where he's like, what if it's not Raltara and I just help something who wants to cause a greater disaster with a fully developed body? Like, he's really actually like, my boy is using his brain. He's not smooth brain no more.
Yes.
You know? Like, he's out here being calculated, the opposite of what Maruna's supposed to be. So I really like that.
What do you think it was? What did you think it was? Do you think that's actually Raltara?
I'll put it this way: my dramatic irony self outside of the story says, I think she's in there. If I was Ran, I can't take that chance. I can't. I don't know. I'm not taking that chance. So I would be like, nah, I ain't developing nobody. I'm out of here. Type beat. But it's really dope too, because they're like, oh, I think when Kalavinka, because obviously Kalavinka doesn't know that necessarily the relationship that Ran and Maruna have. They just know that they've been together at some point, or they know each other. So she's like, oh, you want to wish for his happiness or something? He's like, nah, I can't do that. He's like, that's not what I'm doing here. Even though he never harmed me and seemed like a mild-mannered good person, it was only because I was a human that was of use to him. It would look completely different from the perspective of other countless humans who died for the sake of his goals. And I thought that was really mature of him. And then he came up with the whole equal to Maruna's sake. And then Raltara was like, all right, I'll do it. And then Kalavinka's like, I'll do it too. And then the spell seems to have failed. And when he coughed, I assumed that he started to feel the negative effects of the Eye of Perishment or Pledge token. So when I'm not sure why Raltara at that point, or Raltara, Maru, whatever fusion this is, started to like go at him hard. That seemed kind of out of nowhere, but yeah, that was a really good chapter in my opinions. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if she's gonna top this next week. She topped it. I thought this chapter was better, honestly. Like, in my head, when she was retreating with Ran, I did not think she was going to bring him to the Yaksha clan. That did not even appear in my brain as a possibility of things she would do. I thought she would just take him somewhere where there was no conflict and be like, you good? Like, really? Like, that's what I expected. But then she's like, nah, I'm leaving him here. And hold on, I think it's Raltara in there, but I think Kali has some type of hand in it only because Raltara currently holds the throne of the Taraka clan. Okay, that's interesting. But what do you think of the Kalavinka bringing him to the Yaksha clan first, I guess? And I mean, no, them being able to discern qualities make sense for Asura. It's not a big deal. But yeah, go ahead.
Uh, I was shocked. I mean, I was kind of, as I said, I saw your tweet about the Hanuman stuff, so I already knew that we were going. So I was like, okay.
I'm sorry. I usually don't. I actually
But,
usually don't tweet about Kubera. That's my fault.
No, you're fine. But I was happy. You know,
I mean,
Yakuza
I
my
do tweet about
favorite
Kubera. Sorry,
clan.
I don't tweet the panels that early. Is what I meant to say. Keep going though.
Yeah, but like, I mean, the Yakuza clan's my favorite clan. So for me, this is something that I would love to see because I genuinely enjoy Rain's interactions with usually all the Yakuza masters. So seeing Hanuman now, especially her now taking more on that now her being more woman. I don't think we've ever. It hasn't been explained why she being a woman just more so now than like because she used to just be a man.
Yeah, because I remember when I was like, oh shoot, here comes Grandma Hanuman, and then he was a dude. It's like Grandpa. That's literally what I said. I was like,
Yeah. So I'm curious if like after Yaksha died, that's when she just started becoming a human, like a woman, and then that's when like she had her daughter and stuff like that. But I'm really happy to see her interaction with Rand. It was nice to see. It was nice to see her actually be like more accepting and kind.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. That was a good moment. Well, I'll get to that. But the thing here that I think is kind of weird about the kind of initial scene when she just kind of walks off, because of what we learn later on. When she says, "I have unfinished business to take care of," what do you mean unfinished business? She kind of turns around and says, "Saving the future that might die today." Do you think that that's something to do more with whatever her initial mission is related to what Vistu had told her? Or do you think that the pledge, the Eye of Perishment has affected her in a way that they said like some Suras just like die in the quest because like they're like, all right, we want to wish for this thing, and some Suras like their entire life becomes dedicated to that thing, even though they kind of wanted to develop for something else. So I thought it was interesting because it looked to me like maybe the wish affected Kalavinka. I don't know though, and I wonder why she didn't put the neck thing back on. I don't know. It doesn't look more menacing because I think she needs. Someone remind me if you're in the chat and you know. Does the thing on her neck turn her face back into human, or I can't remember what it was when she took it off. It did something. I can't remember what it was exactly.
Yeah, I think it was saying her Shura trait is her head. So the neck was acts as a thing to present her as human.
Okay, there we go.
I think that's all it does.
Yeah.
Which allows her to blend in and know the kids of the village and stuff.
Yeah. So look at what you were talking about. I actually thought this reintroduction of Hanuman was great, all things considered. Once you like ran, wake up. You've been so keen to take care of your family, but it seems as much as your limit. What Yaksha worked for was all in vain. So when he got up and he grabbed something, I knew it was Hanuman, right? Because I'm like, only Hanuman would have that knowledge if we can base it off the same them being on the same timeline trajectory, where the version of him in the past would have still met Grandpa Hanuman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually really like this. Then he like grabs her and he's like, wait, who? He's like, who? He's like, who? The king of the clan you belong to. Like, Hanuman now? Like, I actually thought that was good. I didn't know what, because I would argue that the Hanuman that was kind of presented to me in season 2, as brief as it was, and the version that I got back when Yaksha was king, are pretty night and day. Like, or at least they're significantly different enough that I was like, I didn't expect this personality towards more the beginning of the universe to be like this. And then just seems a lot more mellowed out and like, I guess more empathetic is the word I'm looking for. Like,
oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and then recognize that he looks younger than he did when they first met initially. So that was all very interesting. And you don't need to explain. I don't know the circumstances, but I do know I do know now around Sarafi, blah 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 blah. But let's talk about this issue first. He's like, how the hell did you end up with a pledge token attached to your heart? And I'm wondering, did you think that her being able to discern that while he was unconscious was significant, or do you think I'm reading into it too much? Like, how is there like a way to tell? Is there a mark? Do they all have similar symptoms? Like, how did she know that? Or did Kalavinka maybe say that we don't know? What do you think?
Oh, I guess I didn't actually really even think about that. I guess if I had to use reasoning now that I'm thinking about it. One would potentially be that since it's affected with this heart, which is Yaksha shit, her being a Yaksha Nastica and the current king, and someone who had a very strong relationship with Yaksha, it just might be a special thing that she can kind of have like more of like a sense
Of what's
or
wrong
like
with
some
people, descendants, people that share the blood.
yeah,
Okay, fair.
or like Yaksha's heart, or it could be just like one of these like like sixth sense of just a Nastica in general, not like how the fifth Zen gods can see in the hearts and like read minds, but like something ache into like that more like supernatural sense. I guess I don't know. That would be my reasoning as to why. But I guess as you said, it could be Calavinka might have just said something too.
Mm. Okay. Your heart is part of Asura, but development is impossible. There's no way it was equipped with a normal deal. All it does is cause you pain. I guess my only other reasoning was like maybe because like the whole star she goes to, I think she gives 4 examples, and one of them succeeded, the other 3 failed. So I wonder if it's just one of those things where it's like you've seen it enough and you just know what it looks like when someone is suffering from the pledge token. It could be that, even though it's like maybe there's not like you have these literal 10 things, but out of these 10 things, if you exhibit about 6 or 7 of them, you can probably assume it's pledge token related. So the dialogue in the pink bubble probably wasn't Hanuman. We've seen those zombie like things in Rad's subconscious before the pink bubbles like that. Hold on. Oh, you mean when he was unconscious? That's actually not a bad point, because I guess when they wake up, the bubbles and talking and stuff is different. It's not a bad point. I didn't actually look at it that way, because he's had a couple of hallucinations here and there. So I wonder if that was actually someone else talking to. Actually, that's damn. You kind of changed the context of this a little bit, but it's still really intriguing. That's I didn't see it that way. That's interesting. Y'all got a keen eye for this shit, man. That's good.
They actually might be completely right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to that. Actually, I think I probably agree with that more at this point, but I still think Hanuman was has
because Hanuman didn't like because she didn't say anything like in regards to as if like his response of grabbing it as if like she did say anything. She was more just like, why are you grabbing me?
Yeah.
So yeah, he might have been here. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
But I guess I would expect her to be like, "Don't you dare talk like that," and I'm like, "I didn't say shit." That's probably what I would have been like if I didn't say nothing. But okay, no, that's fair. But what were your thoughts when you were kind of getting to like? I think it's a bit of an exposition heavy chapter, but I think it was an interesting lore dump, going through all the examples of pledge tokens and Sura development and how it works and doesn't work and what happens to some of the surrounding people and people who are evolved with the wish. I was really absorbed by this. I thought it was really, really cool. Like, what did you think? Because
I'm
at the very sorry.
I'm not gonna lie.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to reread this chapter a few times because I read it the first time and I was like, some of this shit definitely went over my head like as an explanation.
Because at first they're talking about it, right? Right. And then after, like, they tried to return, like, summon the item again, blah blah, this, that, and the other. Then Han was like, "So what's the issue?" And he basically said, "I need to see that humans would regard them as equals." So you're saying you use that item with Maruna? He's like, "No, I didn't. I did that with a different Sura I was trying to develop." It's like, you've seen you wish for Maruna to mend his way, separate from the Sura you wanted to develop. It got equipped with such a wish. How strange. And it's like, doesn't it get equipped if the wish is not absolutely impossible, since the wish is just to produce to determine the Sura's sincerity? And he's like, no, the wish doesn't end as a simple procedure. And it would make sense, in my opinion, for the people who like the pledge token tends to really work on what it is for, to have a different perspective and viewpoint on it, or to have a deeper level of insight. Because what I liked about all of this, I'll talk about some of the minutia about all this when they're talking about it. Because remember, at one point Rand is like freaking out, and he's like, and she actually asks one of her like, I can't remember who. Do you know who this is? The guy with the cat ears. Do you know that person's name? I don't remember the Sura's name, but she asks.
I don't remember his name now.
To leave, so you can tell me what it is and blah blah. And I think she was able to discern what happened, and that's when she like, you know, where's the part that I'm looking for? My favorite part of the chapter, because it was just like Rand's like he's shaking it right. Oh, it's Tatia. My bad. It's Tatia. Wow, it's Tatia. It's right there in the chapter. My fault. So Tatia was probably that wolf thing that we saw at the beginning, then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. My fault. That's
yeah.
I'm slow for that. That's on me. You can roast me for that. That's my fault. Then he's like, "Can you try telling me again without Tatia not even listening?" So Tisk, I'm sorry, I want to tell you, but she pats his hand. She's like, "Despicable bastard, deceiving someone so young and innocent, making him take such a rough journey, and never allowing him to let out his feelings of frustration. It must have been so hard." And at that moment, you could realize how much he's been through. Like, I actually think he's masked it pretty well, because I guess I didn't even pick up on it to that degree. Even though she's like, how unsightly you're crying. but Sora's, Sora's humans are different, so that's fine to me. That makes sense. But I really love that moment. She's the one who fought against Asha in the present time. Okay, thank you. Oh, dude,
she was like, I know this shit hard, but don't cry, nigga.
Like, you bitch. you punk. So no, that was this chapter was really good. So what I want to talk about is Callie's sorry, let me just find the line that I'm looking for specifically. But I just think that this item, for what I can tell, no matter what your goal is and your particular need to develop is, I don't think the trade-off is ever worth it in the long run. That's what it comes across to me. No matter what your cause is, whether you deem it to be, I know I'm making a random comment, but the ball girl in this tennis game, she is cute as hell. What the hell? Anyways, what was I saying?
Callie, no, it's never worth using the.
Yeah, it's never worth using. The consequences are much too dire. So like, I wouldn't go into it. And then Rand starts to look like he's being manipulated. I think him and Calavinker are being manipulated with those two items. I'm not sure how or why, but so she talks about 3 of the 4. They live solely for their wishes and then die in a complete vain. So first of all, 2 held a grudge against a Nastica of the Dragon Clan, Upala. So of course they developed while wishing for Upala to die. Trusting in the power they had attained through the development, they rushed at him and got bodies. Shout to the Vitra clan. Get smoked. We the GOAT, baby. Dragons out here. Do not play with us. You thought your little power-up item was going to help? Die in vain. Shout to the Dragon clan. We out here. Sorry, that's my clan. I'm Vitra clan gang. Callie's basically just effing with the niggas like always, sowing the seeds of chaos. That's exactly what it is. She's really a chaos merchant, right? Then she talks about Mutala died fighting his clanmate Nasika Tasaka. In any case, Mutala died, so the wish they made came true one way or another. And they talk about Callie. I think I'm trying to find a part where they talk about the probability of the wish coming through isn't necessarily what it is. It's just like if Callie actually deems it herself, that it's probably possible. I'm trying to find that line. Can't exactly find. I'm trying to find
the way it makes it seem is that it's not like it makes sure the future comes true, but it only works knowing if that future is possible to begin with.
And so sometimes it looks like even things that she thinks is impossible, or it's not within what she believes. Well, that's just, I want to say the same thing in different words. Then it won't work. Interesting to see.
Yes.
Utala mentioned outside of the finite. That's true. Actually, hold on. Is that the only time that they're ever mentioned that I'm thinking about it? I probably didn't pick up on that. You probably picked that better than I did. But did you read that, Myles? I don't know if you read that.
I still have not read the finite now.
When you get around to, let me know. No rush.
Okay.
It's actually kind of funny. The Knack video and the finite video are 2 videos that I've had to redo. I just haven't chipped away at it as much as I should have. That finite video should have been out from like May, but some audio got messed up. But I'll now that I'm reminded, I think that should be my next focus. I should just finish it, just get it done. I was so mad. It was like an hour of work, like an hour of like footage just gone, corrupted and wasted.
Oh my gosh!
Because I was speaking for a while. I was like, bro, don't do this. That's so sad. So yeah. So Cal using the wishes that are barely to come true to bait to ruin those Suros. It seems like the wish could come true with their development, but it's actually not the case. Still, one was a possibility, right? To be honest, I thought the item might not respond to that wish towards Marunas, but since it responded right away, even if it's Callie's arbitrary judgment, it seems a glimmer of hope. I wonder that possibility may not be in the range that you think it is. I said that out of the 4 wishes, one came true. Archie cursed with the one that did not, or whatever. Sorry. So it was 3 that came through and 1 didn't. I think earlier I reversed it. My fault. Is that what it was? Sorry, I think I said it reversed.
Yeah, 3 came
out of
true.
4,
1
I
didn't.
said. Yeah. I apologize. I was wrong. It's not for my friend to wish for has yet to come true. The possibility of my friend's wish coming true has fundamentally disappeared. I want to die while protecting Yakshinim. At the time, Yakshin had been alive, and that friend of mine used that wish as a means to develop. The reason why I thought this might be important because I was wondering if it was tied to Ran, but I don't think Yaksha's death might have anything to do with Ran unless you think he took his heart and he got weaker in some weird way. But when he left, it looked like he got his heart back because he yeeted.
Yeah, he got it back.
Asura right back. He yeeted him across the galaxy. So I don't know, but that was really good. But the Yaksha died before the Rakshasas on the surface. Okay, I remember what it was. The likelihood of Kali thinking that the first king of a clan would die before some unknown Sura probably wasn't within her calculations. So it worked and whatnot. I honestly think this entire item is interesting, but I wonder if it actually is kind of just do you think it's actually totally from top to bottom a purely bullshit item that Callie just made to mess with people, or do you think it has some redeeming quality or factor, even if we haven't run into it yet? I have a point. I have a bigger point to make. What do you think, though?
I was gonna say this actually kind of goes back to the thing I said 2 weeks ago when I was giving those questions out, and I was talking about the Eye of Perishment. And I said because this was before we even knew kind of what the curse could be, right? That could give it. And to me, I took it as what Callie was using these tools for, and why people were being afflicted with this curse that basically makes these Rakshas have the worst lives at the end, was that she's somehow able to transfer her sins from her to them.
Ooh.
That's what they're being used for.
So
and and she's been using this try to regain because as we see, she's kind of fucked right now. So I think that was her way of alleviating a lot of problems that would probably come back to her, as we see with Anata and what those sins did to him. So that's what I kind of took what the use of the Eye of Perishment was for. And she was using the development as a means to entice the Rakshas to take it.
Okay, that's interesting. You might have changed the makeup of my point though. Okay. But I guess I'll just say what I was gonna say before. I don't know if anyone's in the camp with me here. Hold on. Am I gonna sneeze? I feel a sneeze coming. I don't know. When it comes, it comes.
This way.
Merci. But I actually believe that Callie may not be as bad as we think she is. I'm not saying Callie's a good person and not a chaos merchant.
Yeah, I don't think she
I
is.
have a
It's
very
bad.
natural disposition that when somebody is being hyped up as overly righteous or overly evil on any end of the spectrum and is being recounted by multiple people, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Think of any polarizer figure today that any establishment media or whatever just every day hit piece. I'm they're probably not. I'm not even saying they're good, but they're not that bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking. Vishnu is the one I don't trust. I don't know why. I don't believe him. I don't trust it. I don't trust Vishnu. He's the one that I think is shady. But what the question that I had was, why did you think the rules of the pledge token are explained that way? But if it is almost like this sin, because she's trying to take sins and stuff, I think it kind of makes sense because kind of like you make all parties involved fully understand from top to bottom exactly what it is they're getting themselves into. So if you decide to do this, you know that you're taking a shortcut with a consequence, which could, I guess, now in this sense, alleviate her of some of the sin or whatever the hell she could be accumulating or whatever trying to get rid of. Because my question to you was, why do you think those rules are in place and so strict? Where it's like, listen, you only will like. Let's say I wanted someone to develop for like a very personal gain. I can't give them a bullshit story like develop to the 5th stage and defeat Maruna because my village blew up. And no, the pledge token actually what it does is it makes you the strongest 5th stage. I can't lie about it. I have to be honest, right? So I'm like, why was that honesty policy in there? Is basically what my question was.
Yeah, I think that goes with it because we still don't know the full scope of sins, but sins seem to be like a very like not straightforward, but like a very strict means in which you have to navigate through and like be open and honest with. So I think that does tie into then. And again, the app punishment kind of reminds me of like a business, of the sense that like there has to be some level of openness and honesty, and like I can't think of the word right now. But like people have to like know that your product is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like with the clauses of being honest and her using her time thing of seeing these different timelines and knowing what could work, it's people can look at other people using it and say they developed and they got their wish. So whatever even happens after that kind of doesn't matter. So I think like there's like a bunch of small parts that work to make this one item work, if that makes sense.
That's interesting. Nah, cause I gotta. I'm just thinking about that, but I do want to say my biggest takeaway from this chapter is it's time to it might be time to invest in some Hanuman stocks. I'm a fan. Like this chapter, it was one chapter, but it did a lot for me. It went a long way. I like that moment with Ryan a lot. What's that last part I wanted to talk about real quick? So yeah, the wish was merely something. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Not even Cali can predict the circumstances of Yaksha's death, causing intervention conclusively, blah blah. That was nullified. The development was maintained, and the Rakshas's mental defect grew more and more serious. So it seems that a lot of them are completely mentally affected by this, psychological transcendental,
yes.
if you will. Do you if you had to assume the pledge token worked, and we don't know why Rand is dealing with the punch, but assume it worked. Who do you think it afflicted more, or do you think which one of the two do you think was more sincere? Do you think it was Raltara, or do you think it was Kalavinka? Am I saying her name wrong?
If I think Raltara was truly in control for those split moments at that time frame,
okay,
Raltara for sure.
I agree with that.
Because I think the thing with Kalavinka is, and I think this is the issue with a lot of the Shuras, I think they operate in the relationships of what they believe they should be operating on them on, rather than how they truly feel. Mm-hmm. I think Kalavinka's saying this stuff because Maruna is her brother, and it comes down to more of a duty and family thing of like, yeah, that's my brother and stuff. But like, Maruna and Kalavinka have not been together for God knows how long.
He's seen Utah more.
I don't really know how much. And we've seen even like the Maruna and Utah stuff and how that was really kind of going down. Where in the beginning, I could be misremembering, but for Maruna, it was more of an obligation.
I would say initially it kind of looked that way because I think the first time they kind of reunite is when Lee's and Maruna reunited in some weird way, and I think Utah's there and he has to like intervene. If I remember that correctly.
Yeah.
So,
because for me, I think it wasn't really until like, honestly, like kind of like before Nada, when Maruna truly saw him for what he was and he could physically see
him. Yeah.
That's not like only until then was like I would say the love really there.
Yeah.
Because like even like beginning season 1 when he's like no, like, you to get out of my way. If you do, and I'm gonna like break your legs and just drag you or whatever. Like, you're like, so with Kalavinka, I don't really know if she like genuinely loves her brothers at this point, or if it's more of like an obligation,
clan
like
duty,
yeah,
kind of, you know. Yeah, I hear
like she has an understanding of what the relationship is and what she should do, but that doesn't mean she loves Maruna. So I think Raltara, who's built this relationship and truly feels like an allegiance and like ownage to like Maruna, I think she would be more honest than
I think
Kalavinka.
my voice is cracked. Am I going through puberty? I think what you're saying makes sense because it actually kind of reminds me of myself for a long time. I think I'm at the point now that I actually, maybe I'm wrong. I think I have true empathy, but I think for most of my life I wasn't actually empathetic from the intuition and feeling standpoint. I could logically be like, you lost your house, you lost your kid. I know things aren't good for you logically. So when you explain that like the relationship, she understands like they're like the how brothers and sisters are supposed to act, and also how like from a clan perspective how things are supposed to be. Maybe she just understood that from a standpoint of logic and reason. But I think Maruna was like that too. But like you said earlier, but with the part when Kubera was the god of Earth, Kubera, I was like be specific about which Kubera I'm speaking about. But the god of Earth, Kubera, was like you're being calculating and everything, and he was actually able to. He basically went with his heart and his chest and his feelings instead of his brain. He was able to feel, see, and touch Yuta. And I think at that point, it became more of like a true sibling bond in that sense. So that's a good way of putting it out. I never looked at it that way before. What do you think about the party crashes at the very end? I'm here to help, Hanuman. You and Ganhavra knew nothing of what would happen, and without any preparation, suffered damage in N5, but I knew from the start, and I've been preparing. I didn't see that coming.
I don't know what to think of her still. I don't know how to feel about her.
I haven't. My temperature on her is still like undecided as well. So I hear you on that.
Because I feel like there's so much scheming, and it seems like there's so much that she understands behind the scenes. Even like with the way in which she was like trying to like not she wasn't I wouldn't even say manipulate Maruna, but like of don't come back, do this, do that. I don't know how to feel. I just don't know how to feel about her. She might be the one that I'm like the most like not wary of. Wary's not the. It's not wary. I don't think the word's wary.
You have no idea where her motivations and allegiances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm just watching you from a distance. I still have to wait a bit on you.
Mm-hmm. Do we know the timeline of Senpati taking the pledge token? Do you think that the mom came so Senpati can evolve to the 5th stage? I don't know what the exact timeline is, but the other I think I had another question in my head just now. I'm trying to remember what it was though. From a timeline.
Was Maruna was with Senpati when he was in the 3rd stage, right? Because I don't think Maruna saw her at all when he was in his 4th stage. And then next time he saw her,
she was in her 5th.
She was already 5th. If I'm remembering there, I can't remember if he already knew she was in the 5th stage or if this was new or not. I can't remember.
That would have been done before this. After the cataclysm, Yuta was stranded in the human realm. Oh, okay, thank you. So wait, does that mean that the Sorry, help me up with the timeline for a second, cause my timeline is wonky right now in my head, and I'm tired. Not that I would have known if I wasn't tired, but did the emotional resonance with the Yaksha clan stuff happen yet? Where Hanuman was apparently like out of control, and Dustin made the Yakshas, and Rand had that moment when he was younger. Has that happened?
No, it hasn't.
Or that's going to happen. Cause I have this inclination that we could be inching towards that. I could be completely wrong. I'm sorry, Ashu. I'm sorry, brother. We've been going for a minute too. We've been talking.
Because QZ says, no, we're in the cataclysm now.
Okay, so that was all during the cataclysm. So, because I was trying to discern if Hanuman remained the king after that happened. For some reason, I couldn't remember if someone else took over or they were like kingless.
I'm sorry.
Hanuman did that.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. We're in year 9-5. This is 5 years after cataclysm.
Okay, so then I apologize. Sorry.
It already happened. I'm wrong. Yeah, QZ just said it again. Yeah. I'm wrong. We're 9-5.
I definitely gonna have to. I might, what I think I'm gonna do I'm still gonna do my own reread, but when I do like a reread maybe online and stuff, I'm gonna have to. I might have to do the thing that I did. What series I do this with? I can't remember series I did this with. Come to me when it comes to me. Where I literally had a huge paper with just a line, and I would just dot years where certain events happened on the timeline. I might have to do that with this series. So Shuri was the king
Yes,
up until the cataclysm. Hanuman became the king after that. Oh, was it Shuri that went through the emotional resonance thingamajigger maduber? Wasn't it Hanuman?
Oh,
Hanuman
it was a
would have been
bunch of them.
affected either way though. She wasn't. It wasn't a king.
It was. It was a bunch of them because again, the Harvard did it too.
Because
So it was a bunch.
it didn't affect. I almost said Utah Lutz, if I remember correctly, right? Or at least it didn't seem to. It seemed to affect.
It was. Remember, it only
Was it
affected
Rand's?
halves.
Was it Rand and Rand's mom?
Yeah, because it only affected halves. It didn't
Oh.
affect quarters.
Okay. Yeah, Utah was with Shuri. On what? Actually, we don't really know. Shuri apparently vanished during the cataclysm, so there's something there we don't know.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
because Kalavinka went with Vishnu, Maruna went with Gandharva, and what's his name went with Yuta went with Shuri.
okay. But this was a really good chapter, though. I really liked the info dump. I like them talking about the three instances where the Eye of Perishment or Pledge token was successful. The one where it wasn't. Shout out to the Vitro Clan Dragons. We out here. Shout out to Soccer. That's my guy. And Hanuman stocks. I'm going to invest. I really like Hanuman. I'm not going to act like Hanuman's top 10 all of a sudden, but like did a lot for me. This did a lot for me. I really like that moment with Rand. It was one of those where Rand. I know that. You know what's that meme where it's like there's two types of things. Only two things men want, and one of them was like a girl hugging with being like, "You've done enough. It's okay. You can rest now." He had one of those moments. The Kubera because of timeline, but I don't know how up to date it is. Okay.
Hold on. I think I'm just connecting a bunch of shit, but I could be completely a moron right now.
No,
Okay. Alright. Arivata Kanara, right?
yeah.
When she had both of those names, she was going through immense physical and mental stress. Because she couldn't contain both names, correct? That's why she had to get rid of the Arivata name, and she passed it. Or no, she kept the Arivata name, and she passed the Kanara name to one girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
There's someone else in the chat to reply. What? Keep going.
This is when she was fighting the two Nastikas from Garuda Clan and Kubera and
No,
Yama.
I remember that, but like I don't remember
Yeah.
if she had to get. I know she was in emotional distress and in pain and stuff. I do think she was trying to get rid of one of the names because didn't the other girl have Kanara and Anand's?
Yeah, she gave
girl, but you
Kanara.
don't talk about Kanara. She had the
She
name
gave
Kanara.
the name Kanara, and she kept Arivata, right?
Mhm.
Because Arivata at that time was a more powerful name.
There's data
we know-
books. I gotta learn Korean.
Jesus.
Sorry. Go on.
So we know that beings aren't supposed to have more than one. Like the powerful names, you're not supposed to like really have multiple of, right? Okay. Callie took Taraka as her name, right? She has two. She has Callie and Taraka. She took the Nastica name. She kept it for herself. Interesting. Okay. Callie, as we see right now, her body's relatively destroyed. So from what it seems like, is that her body probably couldn't take on the power of the two names, and that's why she's in the state that she's at. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe. But, going with that, the only thing that she could do then, right, is somehow finding a way to pass that name
Physical
on to
printed
someone else.
books. Sorry, keep going.
So, going back to the Eye of Perishment with the sins, maybe kind of like Kubera was able to split his name and power. Maybe if it's not the sin thing, maybe it's also a way of her not reclaiming, but giving away her power of the name Taraka, so her body can like live with like the less power of the name.
Okay.
Because, right, Sampahati, right, who got the Eye of Perishment, later became a Taraka clan member.
Repeat that.
Sampahati, right?
She
Who
said-
developed.
You said she became a Taraka, a Thing Clan member?
She did, yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
Remember?
The last thing I
Remember the
remember,
whole-
honestly, was Sampanti. I remember her, like, being in space, and Marina pulled up on her.
Yeah, remember she was all red now and stuff? She became a Taraka Clan member.
Did she really? Did I not notice
Yeah. Yeah, she became a Taraka Clan member. So what I was saying is, what if that was because potentially the eye perishment. But I could be misremembering, and she just got murked by other Taraka clans and absorbed. But this is just me because okay, never mind, QV. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Never mind.
Oh, she got eaten.
I'm trying to
so
connect points. Yeah.
After
Never
Kassak
mind.
pushed her in the end of season 2. Okay. That's tough. Shout out Kassak, man. Future clan, we out here. Dragons raw. No emotions. Yerp. You already know. Oh, man. This journey of Rand and Maruna has been so engaging. I do wonder at what point we're going to stop and maybe focus on somebody. I'm not complaining because I still like both characters and it's been good. It's just one of those things where, like, I wonder if somebody who's like a Utah fan or Lee's fan or something, they're like, please. I just want to see that. It's been so long. I don't know. I know, right? Amazing duo. Wouldn't put it past Curry to pull some crazy twist there. I mean, I could see it. I want those physical volumes. That's disrespectful. They got physical volumes with Kubera and Korea. I gotta make this thing popular. That's the only way. They gotta see the money. If they don't see the money, they're not giving it to us. I gotta figure something out.
Hell no.
I don't even want those TOG volumes. I'm kind of lying. I want the first 2 seasons. I'll never buy the 3rd one. I'm not putting that on my shelf. Hell no. I don't know. That's good though. Anyways, you have any final words on the chapter?
Yeah.
If shipping wasn't hell on earth, I would have gotten the Kubera volume already. I want to be able to read it though. So I would want it to be in at least French or English. They got French volumes. I know TOG got French volumes first. I want to say before the English ones came out. See, that's fine. That's not an issue. Cause I like Radiant. I don't even read in English. Don't send me a English translation for Radiant. I won't read it. I'm reading it in French.
You caught up? Did you re
I'm not caught up at all. I remember reading like 3 years. My point is, if you send it to me,
You got to get back into that. That's my shit. Real shonen.
You and Vince have said that, so and I believe y'all. So
My man right there. That's Seth. That's my boy. Real make it right there.
You got Crocodile back, so it's all good right now. There's a bundle of 12 current volumes on G Market, but shipping is like $40. But is it in English? Can I read it, or is it all in Korean? That's all. All that matters if I will suck it up for Kubera's worth it. I'll do it. I'll suck it up. I don't even like spending money, but if it's for Kubera and I can read it in French or English, I'm in there like swimwear. But all right. Thank you guys for listening. I'm not ending the stream, but I'm gonna switch topics. You already know I gotta show love to the Patreon gang. Yes, sir. Shout out to the certified BAM lovers, my CBLs. Big love to the Priest of Fire. I greatly appreciate you guys' support, but especially shout out to my 5th Zen God. Shout out to Simi, Scobe, Revenant, Myles, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Irene Sharda, Triss, David Langstaff, Childish Nujabes, Alan, AJ, Abdel, and 5:28 a.m. Your support is greatly appreciated, and thank you.